one-handed 16ths on the drums. It has a certain wow factor, whether you're looking at the funk beats of drummers like Nate Smith or Corey Fonville, or the classic funk of Harvey Mason and Clyde Stubblefield, or the Brazilian beats of greats like Ayrton Moreira, or modern drummers like Isaac Jamba. But there's a lot of confusion about them online. For instance, are they crucial to playing even basic drum beats? Do you have to play them with French grip? How do you get the other stick out of the way? What about playing two different spots on the hi-hat, like tip, shoulder, tip, shoulder? Do I need them to play fast singles? Just like kick drum techniques, one-handed single strokes are shrouded in mystique and mystery. In a way they don't really need to be. It's really a pretty basic thing that's happening. I didn't say easy, but it's basic. And once you master this basic thing, which I repeat is going to feel uncomfortable at first, you'll not only feel more comfortable playing one-handed 16ths on the drums, you'll also have better double strokes, and your non-lead hand will be able to play ghost strokes without getting tired. Oh, I'm Nate. Some people call me the 80-20 drummer, and on this channel, we break down common drum stuff and find the most effective ways to do it. That's it. Anyway, today we demystify the mechanics behind one-handed 16ths, or drop catch, as the kids call it. Stay tuned. And guys, you're going to see a lot of exercises in today's video, and you might be tempted to transcribe them, and my message to you is you don't need to. We've done it for you already. You can get that for free by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it. All right, on with the lesson. Let's start with the hard part. You're going to need to be able to do this. Extend your fingers at kind of an awkward angle with kind of an extreme pinch. It's going to feel very awkward with anything other than French grip. Let me show you on the snare drum from side on. I play a stroke in a way I'll break down later. As the stick bounces, the wrist drops down. Then, instead of just letting the stick bounce willy-nilly, I impose this artificial pinch stroke on it. Is this something you really need to do when playing in real life, you ask? No, you won't. So why learn it now? Because of this. This is me just death gripping the stick, throwing it down, hoping it'll bounce. If I do that quickly, it sounds okay. But as soon as I slow it down, what do you notice? It's impossible to make it even. And we want to make it even. Playing drop catch strokes in real life is a balance between control and bounce. Because speeds are going to change, the angle you're holding your hand is going to change, and say it with me, the rebound of the surfaces you're playing is going to change. So back to our pinch stroke. In order to learn to control the rebound from slow to fast, from surfaces with more rebound to surfaces with less, we need to practice the extremes. And let me just throw it clear for a second. Teaching is full of fancy-looking exercises that probably haven't been proven to really do anything. I don't think this is that, but I wanted to get that out of the way because that's the part of the exercise that's going to feel the weirdest and it's probably going to suck the most. Now, let's back up. To play continuous 16ths with one hand, we're doing what's called a drop catch. It derives its efficiency from the fact that, unlike consecutive wrist strokes, as I'm doing here, it gets two sounds from a single up-down motion of the wrist. The challenge in learning this will be twofold. First, to get the maximum rebound from the drop stroke, whether you have to force it or not. Second, to string together those drops and catches so they're as close to even as possible, in volume and in subdivision. And we're going to practice the first part of this skill, generating maximum rebound, first. Start by gripping the stick neutrally with a pad or drum in front of you. I won't get into German or French grip here, but I like to use a hybrid my old teacher called American grip, where my wrists are at kind of a 45-degree angle between French and German. This is going to change depending on the angle you're turning your arm to hit a hat or cymbal. But for starters, and because French is easier, let's use this more neutral American grip. If I remove the stick from my hand, what I want to see is this motion. I relax my wrist and let it fall below the line of my forearm. If I keep my fingers relaxed, this change in wrist angle will automatically cause them to extend. This is good. Then I use just a little energy to retract my wrist back so it's in line with my forearm. When I do that, my fingers automatically retract without my needing to pull with them. I'll practice that motion with both hands so you can see. Left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, Of course, this is going to change slightly when we add the sticks, but we want to retain something of this feeling. Now let's add the stick. The stick complicates things a lot because now we've got something moving contrary to the motion of our wrist. What's more, we have to elevate the wrist to get a good initial stroke. So these aren't exactly the same, but same idea. Now, the hard part I started the lesson with. I move at the wrist to raise the stick to make a short full stroke. I let my wrist fall as we did before, and I let the stick bounce. Now, using that pinch we talked about, I hold my fingers out in suspended animation and hold the stick in this position. Then, just as we did without the stick, I retract my wrist back to neutral and the stick falls back down. I can continue the retraction to wind up for the next stroke. And again. Let the wrist fall below neutral, use that awkward pinch to hold the stick in suspended animation, then retract the wrist. That's the hardest part done. If you can do that with both hands for a week, like 10 to 15 minutes per day, you'll get the hang of it and it only gets easier from here on out. The faster we do this, the easier it gets. But we want to make sure we're doing it slowly at the beginning so we're not wasting any energy. Because we're going to need all that stick height to make the catch the same volume as the drop. Once you get the hang, you can start doing it faster. You can do 4 on each side, or 8. As you do this, use that pinch to create evenness in the subdivision. Now that you're comfortable with that motion, this shouldn't feel like falling out of a building. It should feel under control. Quick side note, there's a lot of ground about where in the hand to hold the stick and how hard to grip that I'm not going to get into for now, because I want you to kind of feel it. Suffice it to say, you should not keep doing this exercise through extreme tension. If you feel any tension or soreness, stop. There's going to be a little natural tension in that pinch stroke, but not anything excessive. Also, you can injure yourself if you're forcing your hand to pronate, as you would while typing on a keyboard, rather than keeping it neutral. Let the feeling be your guide. Don't play through any kind of tension behind your pinky. Now, let's talk about making this faster. Once you reach a certain speed, your pinch stroke is going to give way to an actual bounce, and you realize, I'm doing it! Sort of like riding a bike. It's okay if that feeling is fleeting at first. Once you're bouncing the strokes though, I want to give you one tip that helped me make my strokes more even. I found it's useful to catch on the downbeats and drop on the offbeats. So like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, drop, catch, drop, catch, drop, catch, drop, catch. This can be a lot of fun to do just alternating the hands. And you start incorporating the feet if you're on the kit to make a whole exercise out of it. Last thing, let's talk about the hi-hat. Because when you play beats like this, you'll eventually want to incorporate the hi-hats. When you swing your hand across your body to play the hats, you might notice the wrist angle changing. This is okay. You should be able to do this at any wrist angle. If you want to practice it slowly on the hats, you can do the same slow drill with the pinch strokes. When you get fast enough, you can even play it with the bass drum every 4/16. And if you're feeling crazy, a real beat, alternating the kick drum and snare. You're doing it! Finally, is this technique really necessary to play basic drums well? In a word, no. Practically any beat some drummers play with drop catch, you can cheat on, and just play fewer notes on the hats or cymbal, and until the very highest levels, people usually won't mind. But I get it. You want that cool, that panache. And this will help you with your doubles, because that mechanism of suspending the stick works very well to keep doubles more even. And that's how you get the gig. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. And if you'd like a lesson or two to take this technique and actually apply it to beats, just click the card on your screen here. Have any experience with it yourself? Leave a constructive comment below. And remember, if you want a free transcription of this, it's yours if you just click the link below the player and tell us where to send it. Dudes, it's been real. Always enjoy these. See you again real soon in another Lesson of the Week.